Will the real men please stand up? Please stand up. Please stand up. Where y'all at? Y'all, this is so completely out of my realm of videos that I typically do. But I had to come on here really quick. I don't know how quick it's gonna be. And I don't even know if this is a review. It's just my thoughts, honestly. I was not planning to do a video on this, but a couple of years ago, I started watching Love and Marriage Huntsville. From, what I had heard, it's, a show about like Black families that are entrepreneurs living in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm from the South, I'm from Mississippi. And just talking about marriage and their process of, I think like back then, my understanding was that they were building homes and own properties and things like that. And so I was like, oh, this is something I can really get into. Started out that way, it didn't stay about the properties and investments and things. Some drama happens, whatever, but I was hooked. So I'm into the show. So this past episode, which I watched a few days after the show aired, I was so just floored and just in shock and in awe of this guy Marquise. Like, so Trisha has been married to Marquise for 18 years. I'm sorry, since they were 18 years old. Who knows at this point? It might be 18 years. I don't even really know. But she lost her mother and her father within 6 months of each other. She also lost her sister. This is just a little backstory. He was not there for her during her time of bereavement, helping her handle the grief. He pretty much seemingly just kind of like backed off from her, and she just did not have his support. He eventually left her and their children, moved to Georgia. And so that's where he's been living for the past 5 years. So she's been dating this new guy, Ken. Well, I don't know how new he is, but they've been dating for some years. This man has really stepped up to the plate and been the father that her children have needed. He's bought her son a car. He's taken them on international trips. Like, he's been filling in the gap. You know what I'm saying? He's been filling the void for where Marquise has dropped the ball. So now Marquise wants to come into the picture. Let me also say that Trisha and Marquise have not officially gotten a divorce. Apparently she's sent him the paperwork and he has just not signed off on it. It's been 5 years now. Either way, so they're not divorced. So he comes up and he goes to speak with Marceau. Marceau is another, character in the show. Marceau can be very opinionated. He's almost like the person that when you watch the show, you can get annoyed by him, but it's like you kind of love to hate him because a lot of times he's truthful in what he's saying. But Marceau tells him the only thing that you need to address with Ken or say to Ken is thank you. Thank you for stepping up to the plate when I dropped the ball. But Marquez's perspective is like, no, that's just hard for him to do. He doesn't like that Ken takes his children to the dance at school or does this stuff with them at school or picks them up and this and that. And it's like, but you're not doing it. So I'm just really trying to understand the thought process of a man, of a person that would like want their child to miss out on an experience, on having a parent, be there for them during those activities. Because I've been that child when you're at school and it's grandparents' day and everybody's grandparents are there and you're just kind of stuck there like lonely and just feeling like no one cared enough to come or no one thought that you were worthy of coming. I've been that child when it's Father's Day or around Father's Day at school and I don't have a dad there that shows up for the Father's Day program. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to wrap my mind around a man that would say he doesn't want this man to show up for the stuff for his children, but he not showing up. Like, how does that work? I don't understand it for the life of me. And I'm like, the pride, the entitlement, the audacity to think that your opinion even matters about it when you left. You deserted your wife and your children. You know what I'm saying? There have been plenty of people that have decided to end their marriage, and the dad steps in and still does what he needs to do. You can have a decent co-parenting relationship where you're away or apart from your children but still play an active role. But this man decided to leave his family and then have the expectation that nobody was going to be the man and be the father to his children, and is okay with that. I can't for the life of me understand that. I don't get it. And it brings me to the point of like, what is manhood? Like, for our generation, I feel like there's so many men that think that they're men and think that there's these things that qualify them as a man, but in all actuality, it's false. It's inaccurate. Like, if you have children, step up and be a father to your children. It shouldn't matter what so-and-so is doing or if y'all together or not. Like, you both made those children. You came together and made those children. These are your children. So you still have a part to play. And so it's just so baffling to me that he would say that. And then after Trisha meets up with him to have this discussion about the divorce, they talk about it, and he's just like, he's really gonna have to have a conversation with Ken, all this other stuff. And then he's gonna tell her, he'll sign the papers, but is she gonna go half on the filing? It costs $400 to file the papers. And you gonna say on TV to your technically wife, are you gonna go half with me on it? Now, you've been gone 5 years. I don't know if you paid a lick of child support or not, if you support the children financially. I don't really know. But to me, it's like you had the unmitigated gall on television to say, are you gonna go half on it? Did you go half on them babies? Like, what? It was so embarrassing. I felt secondhand embarrassment for him. And I'm like sitting there like, why am I embarrassed? I wanted to cringe. It was so awkward and so embarrassing. Like, I honestly, I wish Trish just would have been like, don't worry about it. Ken gonna take care of it. Because I'm like, Ken has shown to be that he can be the man. He's been the man to Trish. He's been the father to your children. And you, sir, have the audacity to take issue with him for stepping in and taking on the role that you're supposed to take, and you have an issue with that, but you're not doing it. Men, please step up. This is a plea for our generation. Please step up. Take care of your wives. Take care of your families. Do what's right by your children. You're setting the example. You're setting the tone for how they're going to grow up. And you being a sorry piece of salami is not going to help this next generation of children that are growing up to become adults and become men. You raising boys through your example. Is that your goal? You want to raise a boy, or do you want to raise a man? I don't know. I just had to vent. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. If you watched the show, let me know what your thoughts were on that particular scene. I don't know. My blood was just boiling since watching it, because I'm like, I really don't understand. And let me just preface this by saying, this is from a woman who, I have been a homemaker for the past, 6 years. And I so value and appreciate, I love and adore my husband for the sacrifices that he makes for our family. I cannot fathom, and I doing all this without having a job per se. And so I just cannot fathom him ever being like just dipping out and not taking any sort of responsibility or accountability. I thank him for his example, because I didn't have that. I didn't have a father that took care of my mom and took care of his children. I didn't meet my father until I was about 14, 15 years old. So he did not play an active role in my life. And so that was the example that I saw, and that was the example that to me was normal. And so it wasn't until my husband came and showed me a different way. So I can sit here I stand on this rock that my husband is an amazing father to our children. He is an amazing father figure to other children. My husband loves children, and I cannot even fathom him ever thinking, like, let me just go. Things may not work out between us, which I pray against that. The devil is a liar. But for him to abandon his children, to me, it's just like, wow. And it's just so unfortunate, that so many of us have that story. So many of us were shown this narrative, and our fathers didn't step up. And I'm just trying to figure out, like, what do we need to do to evoke the change? What do we need to do so that our children aren't becoming the examples of what they've seen? Ooh, it's a bug on my window. It's pretty big too. Scared me. But anyway, I just kind of went on a rant. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you all are even interested in doing like recaps on Love and Marriage Huntsville or any other shows. Yeah, let me know your thoughts. Let me know. I'm looking for more content. If you didn't know, I am currently in transition, staying with family. That's why I'm in the car, while we are getting our house built. So I've been looking for other content to film because I can't do my typical regular content that I typically do at home. So yeah, let me know if this is of interest to you all, and drop down in the comments below and let me know, what type of father figure example do you want your children to grow up seeing, and what type do they already have? Are your husbands a prime example of how a man should be, or how a father should be? Was your dad an example of how a man or a father should be? And men, please chime in, like, let me know, is this example of Marquise what is normal to y'all? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see y'all in the next video.